Hi everybody, my name is Mohammad Hamdy. I am from Egypt. I am here today to introduce a small Visual Basic to you. The Small Visual Basic language is built on Microsoft Small Basic. They are both educational languages aimed for kids and beginners. They are very simple and you can start programming using them in a few minutes. Let's have a look at Small Basic at first to tell you why I decided to build Small Visual Basic on top of it. This is the Microsoft Small Basic website. You have two options: to download the Small Basic or to write code online. Anyway, when you download the Small Basic stub program and install it, the language IDE will look as you see. It is very simple. This is the text editor and this is the help panel that gives you information about the word the caret is within. Like here, right line, it tells you that it writes text to or a number to the text window, etc. And it tells you about its parameters. It has only one parameter, data, and tells you it is the text or number to write to the text window. Here, note that Control plus mouse wheel will change the zoom of the editor. So here a simple application, it is only one line, text window, dot right line, hello. The text window is the console window, the black famous console window. Now you can run this application by just clicking the run button or pressing F5. This is the console window, so it says hello as we told it to do. Press any key to continue. We'll close it and close the program. Small Basic is easy, but it has only two screens: the text window and the graphics window. The graphics window is more attractive and can do amazing things. For instance, you can import some programs from the server, like Tetris. This is the very famous game called Tetris. Let's run it and see. This is the game. You can use arrows to change the position. Down arrow will drop. Up arrow will rotate the shape, and so on. So this is the graphics window. You can do interesting things with it. So Small Basic is easy, fun, but after a while you will find it too small. You can't do more with it. Or use external libraries written for Small Basic to do more, like the Little Dev library. It actually does many advanced things and the graphics, but I see it quite hard. Also, graphics and games most of the time need sine, cosine, and tan functions, which are not suitable for little kids with little knowledge in mathematics. So I asked myself, why not have a form designer, a toolbox, drag some controls on the form, double click a button and write one line of text to get a program up and running, like what we used to do in VB6 and like what we are doing in VB.NET and C#. I thought it would be fun and doable. So I did it. I created Small Visual Basic. It is not actually small. The small part comes from Small Basic. The visual part comes from Visual Basic. And the result is Small Visual Basic. Its reference book contains 750 pages, so it is not small by any means. The Small Visual Basic source code is published on GitHub. You will find all links in the description box below. This is the source code. You can fork it or download it. Here you can download it. It is written with Visual Basic.NET. There are 7 projects. They are all WPF projects written in VB.NET. So you can use Visual Studio.NET to run it. If you want to report a bug or send me a proposal, you can do it in the issues tab here, publish a new issue. You can contribute to the language and send me some pull requests. Anyway, back to the small basic. The README contains a brief description of the language. Here is the installer link and here is the PDF link. Let's go to the installer, Visual Studio Marketplace. This installer is still new. I just released it 4 days ago. Click the download button to download it. When the download is complete, just click here or open the folder and double click the installer, whatever, to start the installer. Welcome. Next. Keep default options. Next. Give it the permission. It is finished. Close. Now you get 3 shortcuts on your desktop. One for Small Visual Basic, another for its reference book, and a third one for the Small Visual Basic samples folder. You will also find these shortcuts in the Start menu, All Programs, Small Visual Basic. Let's open Small Visual Basic. This is the form designer of Small Visual Basic. It is very much like Visual Basic 6. Above here we have 2 tabs, the form design and the form code. The form code switches you to the code editor, which is built on the Small Basic code editor that we have seen, but with slight changes. For instance, there is no help panel here. Here we have right line and so. You notice here you have the IntelliSense pop-up help window. Let's say hello, run. The same result. Small Visual Basic is Small Basic and Plus. So it has the text window, it has the graphics window, it has the Small Basic library and more. It offers you the form designer and a small WinForms library to draw controls and program them. You can drag any control here like you want. This is a text box. This is a button. You can double click the button to have its on click event handler. You can start typing what you want. Text box 1.text equals hello and run. This is our hello. It's easy and fast like VB6. You have 12 controls in the toolbox. You have some flowcharts here. You can program them just like labels. You have some geometric shapes here. You can resize any shape. Drag it to relocate its position. You can even rotate it. You can resize any shape as you want. You can press Control and resize, so you skew the button or any control. Let's skew this. You can select anything and delete, and you can undo, Control Z. You can redo, Control Y, or right click and use the context menu to do such things. You can change back colors, diagram appearance, diagram background. You have amazing brushes here. You can use even some gradient colors like this, or use a radial gradient color. You can add stops and change how the color looks, so you end up with this. You can also explore the samples folder. It contains 71 items, 71 samples. Let's see this. Let's see animation 3. So you can run from the code or run from the form designer, whatever you like. This is an easy sample to try. This is there are more samples on my device. For instance, the Jerry mouse. Let's open it. This program consists only of 7 lines. It has the Jerry image in a label, and by the way, you can add images to the label by the color dialog also, like this. Change diagram appearance and diagram background. Use the image brush and choose an image like Jerry. So here we are. Just resize it to a proper size. You can have a small or a large one as you like. This is a simple application for kids. So Jerry can chase the mouse, the computer mouse. Just click anywhere and it will chase the position of the cursor, of the mouse pointer. This is funny. This is a Tom and Jerry simple game. 85 lines of code. Let's try it. Jerry should escape. Jerry should escape from these cats until one catches it. These samples are for kids, but the language definitely has more. Back to the samples folder, we have some advanced samples. For instance, you can create a calculator. This is just a simple calculator. 2, 3 plus result 5 minus 1, multiplication 6, division 0.6. You can even have multi-forms. For example, we have the small Visual Basic, not bad. Let's see it. Let's run the project. This is the notepad. You can copy and cut and undo whatever, redo. You can change the font to bold. You can change colors, font color. You can save the document and open another. So whatever. You can search for Z, for instance. You can work with files, you can save settings, you can draw amazing things, you can create a game. There is a cars game in the samples folder. You can try it. The small Visual Basic can do a lot of interesting things, and you can use it to learn many aspects of programming. It is a semi-object-oriented language because you can use the control names as objects, like when I used text box 1 dot text equals hello. This is not possible in small basic. It uses only static methods, which makes the code quite larger. Small Visual Basic syntax has many improvements and new syntax features like array initializer, like writing functions, like passing parameters to subroutines and functions, like having local variables. This is not possible in Small Basic. All Small Basic variables are global, which is insane. And many other things. The code editor is highly advanced. It is close enough to Visual Studio Editor. The form designer is very advanced. Despite we are creating Windows Forms applications using small Visual Basic, we also use some advanced graphics from WBF. As I said before, all the source code of small Visual Basic is written using WBF with the Visual Basic .NET code. WBF is very advanced, but I managed to give small Visual Basic a little taste of its advanced features. The control class has some methods, apply styles, advanced styles on the form and controls. For instance, the custom styles sample in the samples folder. Can't show you how to do that. Let's see. Change my style. You can apply styles on all the buttons at once or only one button. If you look here, it uses a style file. Style file is exactly a XAML file that contains a resource dictionary. This is a quite advanced topic. It is not aimed for kids nor beginners, but it opens a backdoor for them when they get professional to learn more about WF. So after a while, they can easily move to VB.NET and in a later step to WF and all the new XAML technologies like WinUR3 or MAUI. So small Visual Basic is built to be a middle stage in between small basic and VB.NET and beyond. It will bring you to programming easily. I think you will enjoy it. This is the small Visual Basic channel on YouTube. It contains a series of videos to introduce small Visual Basic and programming for kids and beginners. The series contains 58 lessons until now, and will be more. Each lesson is about 10 minutes average. They are all in Arabic, but I think you can understand them even you don't understand Arabic. And here I am talking to professional developers and YouTube video makers who want to introduce such videos in their native languages. So I think they can follow this series and get some ideas. It is easy to understand what I am doing by observing how I am designing the form and what code I am writing in the code editor. And you already have the PDF book that explains it. You can open the small Visual Basic reference book where you have all kind of info you need. The index can help you to navigate to whatever you want, or use the search box and write some word you want to search for. You have the language, the ebook, the samples, and the YouTube channel. So I hope you will enjoy small Visual Basic and find it useful. Thank you.